Hey guys, I wanted to talk a little bit about where ideas come from, especially when thinking about how to craft an illustration or a painting or a drawing, trying to make something unique and original to you. So, this is especially important when thinking about the world we live in. We live in the world of AI. So, we are going to constantly now be bombarded with AI art, whether we like it or not. That means that we're up against that art, meaning we're in competition with that art. And the thing that I think will set you apart and make you special is you. You are the one that can make this stuff work. Now, of course, people are going to take the easy way out and use AI to generate images in a particular illustration style and probably start taking work. They already have from a lot of really talented artists, which is unfortunate. But that does not change the creative impulse or the desire to make art. And so I think we just have to live with it and learn to fight against it. So, with that in mind, I want to talk about the creative process that works for me. So, the other day, I bought a book for myself that I thought was pretty cool and was excited to get for my birthday. Someone had talked about it, and so I went searching for it. And I found this. I found this book, The Complete Collection of Conan the Barbarian. Now, something should have given me a little red flag looking at this cover, but it was a cool cover. And I thought, oh, that's awesome. Did not even occur to me to look at it very closely because when I actually got the book and I got it at home, there were many problems with the book. First and foremost, it was very obvious that the type had just been pasted in from some other format. It had, residual elements like two tables of contents, had hyperlinks visible in the print. The text itself was too small to read, basically. It was almost like 6 or 7 point type. The margins were huge. The bleeds were off. Um, it was obviously a print on demand book, but it was not set up for print. It looked to me like someone had reformatted the EPUB file from the Kindle book and just started trying to sell it as a book. Then I did a little more research and found out, oh, Robert E. Howard's books aren't even sold this way. So somebody must be just selling this copy out there. Not to call him out, but hey, anyways, the other thing that I didn't realize is I started looking a little closer at the cover. And of course, how many fingers does he have on his left hand? I count like uh, eight, including a backwards thumb. What is he even holding? It looks like he's holding a branch, maybe the hilt of a knife or a sword. Then his right hand, same thing. Looks like another 6 or 7 fingers. So yeah, okay. Oops. Definitely AI art. He's got like a 13 pack on his torso. I mean, yeah, cool looking cover, interesting. But then what are these little like weird floating elf barbarians in the sky, you know? So I was duped. I bought a totally AI generated, cheaply made book. And so that made me really, really sad. I thought, oh, I was supporting some cool art and a cool collection of the Conan book, but no, I wasn't. I was duped. So what did it do? It made me think, I'm going to make my own Conan, right? So here's where, our process might be a little bit similar to what we do with AI and how ChatGPT or one of the other programs works. But this is where there's a big, big difference. So let me share my iPad screen with you guys. So whenever I decide to do a project, I always have to go looking at other things. That's exactly what the AI is doing, right? It's out there scanning the universe and looking for whatever's out there on the internet, images and stuff to steal from. Well, artists do that too. Hint, hint. We all look at reference images. That's how we work. I'm a very visual person. So for me to see samples, that helps me a lot as I try to figure out and decide what I'm going to draw and what I'm going to paint. I especially like looking at statues. I love figurines. I love seeing how those figurines are designed and printed. I love looking at different artists. Bruce Timm, one of my favorites. Start looking at, okay, how have other artists interpreted Conan the Barbarian? All right. That to me is a starting point. I record that visual information in my brain. I don't know what happens to it. It's there. Then I start doodling on my page. Now, I tend to look at illustrations in a very simple format. I like dynamic poses, which means I'm looking for pyramids, diamond shapes, diagonal lines, and the overall structure of the image. I always focus on rule of thirds as well. So I like to have a very dominant image with a third of the picture being background or foreground, depending on how I arrange things. And with that in mind, that's just the formula. I start sketching and doodling what might be happening. And so I have a couple little doodles here on the side where I'm thinking Conan coming at you, sword behind him, Conan up on a hill, arm raised to strike, maybe Conan standing with people on his flanks, maybe Conan hunched over coming at you. Let's try to just brainstorm a variety of different ways of looking at Conan while looking at pictures. But notice there's a huge difference between my process and an AI process. I'm the person interpreting one thing and converting it and changing into something else, right? We are the essential element that makes the idea, that brings it together. Of course, we gather our own inspiration from multiple sources, but then I'm the one that edits and designs and decides what to put on the page. So next, after I've conceived some of these ideas, I'm kind of liking the idea of Conan in the foreground with two characters flanking him. I kind of like the idea of throwing Red Sonja in there, or maybe another villain behind him ready to strike and him not noticing. Things like that, creating tension in the image. So again, like I said, I like setting up a diamond pyramid or diagonal style composition. So I usually just throw a grid on my page and I set aside those little thumbnail sketches and I start looking for a pose for Conan. I work on the first figure and then I add other pieces. So if you look at this layer group here on um, my Procreate page, I like working in steps. So I'll start sketching out the first character, and of course it's rough, but then I add more detail on a subsequent layer, and that helps me refine his pose. And notice as I started advancing the picture, I realized, having his two arms up, I really like that strength in his pose. And so I wanted to do that. And I like the idea of maybe him crouching on top of a stone, Frazetta style, just standing up on a outcropping. And that creates a vacancy on his left and right flank for other characters. And so I thought, okay, this is where I can throw in, you know, a um, a Red Sonja maybe on the side, another guy um, flanking him on the right, somebody coming at him from behind. Maybe Red Sonja is looking off the frame so that she doesn't notice the threat from behind. But obviously, Conan is going to strike. Well, what's he striking? Well, I want to have these two figures in the extreme foreground. We just see over their shoulders coming at him. Okay. So that's kind of designing how that picture is going to be, what's going to happen in the image. I really enjoy working in Procreate this way because I can separate each piece of the picture on layers, scale it, resize it as necessary as I rough in the sketch. So to me, that is essential when you're trying to find your illustration, find your pose. A friend of mine used to say that Michelangelo, when he approached a slab of marble, he had to chip away the edges to reveal the figure inside. Well, as a writer, my friend would say, I have to create the block of marble first. I feel the same way about starting with a blank page. I have to give myself something rough to then refine and continue to refine and kind of bring the image into focus. And I do that through layers. Of course, I can do that with pencil on paper. What that involves a lot of erasing and resizing. And frankly, in my current state, I don't like redrawing things. So I like the speed of just working on layers and resizing things as I go as needed. And so there are a few more phases of refining these drawings to get to my Conan picture. Plus, if this is an illustration for a book cover, I have to imagine, okay, where does the title go? Where does the subtitle go? So I have to leave room up at the top and the bottom for that, book cover information. So that is my starting point for an idea. And that's what's, I think, missing in the conversation around AI and creativity is where is the human influence? Certainly, I can ask a question and I can get really good at prompting AI on what question to ask and what to say and to have it give back to me what I want. But that's not creativity. That's just thinking and brainstorming. Creativity is then taking that idea and refining it. So I can certainly say to ChatGPT, do it again, do it again, do it again. But the result doesn't have human intention in it. It's just trying A, B, C, D, E until something lands. While I understand that kind of variation, that kind of thinking isn't how we develop ideas. In the artistic process, we develop an idea by keeping something, adjusting something, removing something, altering something, abandoning it and starting over. But we are the conductor. We are the creator. So we are continuing to cobble these things together until we're satisfied with the complete image. And as far as I can tell, AI is not there yet. Can't do that part. Good. So what you need to do, and I need to do, is practice the technique of thinking creatively, of editing. It really is an editing process, but you're the one interpreting the data and interpreting the pacing and the control of what you see. And so um, don't take the easy way out. Embrace that part of the process and let yourself struggle a little bit because, as some pretentious person probably said, artists struggle. Yeah, it's work. Okay. So you're not really satisfied with an idea until you've actually pushed it through the process a little bit. So there you have it. Think about your process. I'm going to keep working on this Conan picture because I'm going to replace that damn book cover and make something better. Right. That's the way I see it. Good luck with your work. Keep me posted. I'd love to see what you're doing.